Hello, my name is Kalinda Trefo. Thanks for watching this video today. And I'm going to be talking about how I detected the cause of anxiety and how it helped me beat anxiety and panic disorder naturally. Then I am going to give you the aha moments that I needed to break free. I hope this video helps. And please, if you like what you see, like and subscribe. Make sure to comment below. I would love to hear your story. Worrying, anxiety, or um, panic, nervousness that's got the problem. It's the dwelling on the thought that is the problem. And dwelling gets you into all kinds of trouble. Now, as an anxiety survivor, I can tell you I did more than my fair share of dwelling. In fact, I lived for it. Every minute of every day was consumed with dwelling. Now, 90% of the stuff I dwelled on, it never happened. In fact, 90% of the stuff that I dwelled on was circumstances from the past, and it was the imaginary consequences that I was all caught up in. They never happened. Not one. How much time did I waste thinking about consequences of past actions that were long forgotten by everybody else except for me? I can't count. In fact, I don't want to waste any time counting because it would be a waste of time and just one more thing to dwell on. And it's interesting because when I talk to people that have anxiety, and I did beat anxiety after everybody told me that I couldn't, dwelling kills productivity. It destroys your energy and ability to get creative and think and dream and be, because it it consumes you, and the energy that you're using to consume you for dwelling on things that are not productive are like wasting your precious minutes that you have creating nightmares rather than memories. I encourage you that if you are stuck in a dwelling pattern, to do something about it, because that dwelling is not helping you live your best life. In fact, it's killing your dreams, making sure that your days are filled with everything that you don't want, and it's probably exhausting you. Now, the other thing that is a problem when you are trying to create the life you want is addictions. And I'm not talking about regular addictions, although some people may be challenged with that too. What I am talking about is your thought addictions. They don't change overnight any easier than an alcoholic's or drug addict's or any other kind of addiction. And it's because we have created a habit of reacting a specific way under certain circumstances. So, for example, if you are put into a situation that you're familiar with, and at some point you learned how to handle that situation, and so that you could survive, chances are you're going to use that same tool to react again at a later date. The reason for that is because we have cellular memory. And it's interesting to me that many people get caught up in the symptom rather than dealing with the cause. Think about it for a moment. How many people do you know that search relentlessly for a cure for anxiety? How about people that have panic attacks? If you've ever had a panic attack, they suck. It was a miracle for me at the beginning of my journey to understand that emotion can actually cause physical pain. Nobody ever gave me that memo. I was in debilitating pain, slumped over, couldn't stand up, in emergency 4 days a week for about a year because I was convinced I was going to die. I thought my insides were going to implode. Nope. All that it was grease stored in my colon. And the moment that I was able to let it go, funny, the pain left too. So I always say that there's 3 causes for stress. Stress, stress, or stress. But it's physical stress, nutritional stress, or emotional stress. Now, physical and nutritional stress, it can be detected. Emotional stress, it will provide the symptom, but no matter what you try, you're not going to find it on any medical exam. So in that case, it's your body trying to get a message across to you, and you're not understanding it because it has been a forgotten art on how to communicate with your body and what it is trying to tell you. It's like the only language you know is English, and somebody is trying to communicate to you in Chinese. You can't get very far, can you? Well, it's the same with your body. You're cohabitating with something that you don't understand the language. And until you do, the pain is going to persist. And it's not going to learn English to try to help you out. So you need to understand it. It already understands you. And getting to the place where you're able to communicate is key in this process. So if dwelling is the cause of anxiety, worry, panic, then emotional patterns are the cause of addiction because our reactions have been programmed into our subconscious mind that keep us making the same choices that we're comfortable with. Now, comfort and change cannot coexist because change creates fear. It's fear of the unknown. And when you have fear, you can't be comfortable. That's why when you're trying something new and it creates fear or resistance, you want it to create that fear enough to keep you motivated. And because if you always do what you've always done, you're always going to get what you always got. So if you're comfortable with the life that you have, keep on doing what you're doing and you'll keep on getting it. But if there's something that you don't like, it creates change. Change creates fear, and you're going to have to push past it in order to be able to get what you want, and so that you reach your new level of comfort. Consistency is another important aspect in getting what you want. You see, it takes a lot of steps to travel 1,000 miles, but you can't get 1,000 miles without taking a step somewhere. And to get from where you are to where you want to go, it's the same principle. You have to move. And unless you figured out how to time travel, you need to physically move. It's not enough to just sit there and think about the destination. And one of the key principles is making sure that you arrive to your destination in good shape. So how do you wake up in the morning? What is it? How do you schedule your day? What are you doing to make sure that you are good mentally, physically, and emotionally, so that when you do arrive at your destination, it is strong and able to do what it is that you want to do? Now, obviously, nutrition plays an important factor. Self-care making sure that you're taking care of yourself, and really focusing on what tools you need to develop in order to remain successful at that destination. What I mean is, everybody's heard about the lottery winners, right? You win a lottery, you don't have the principles of how to manage money, and all of a sudden they're bankrupt, broke, and worse shape than they were before they won the lottery a few years later. Well, if you don't have the tools to sustain, you're going to lose it, because there is no easy shortcuts. You need to do the work. There's two ways to do it. You either invest or you spend. You either invest your time and money into really developing the skills that you need to do what it is that you want, or you are going to be spending a lot of time and money figuring it out. But either way, the cost is usually the same, because when you're spending, it's using your resources, and it's not a wise investment, because spending is stuff that's permanently gone. You can't get it back. Time and money, you have the choice to spend or invest both. The time that you invest is something that you really need to pay close attention to, because are you spending or are you investing? Now, investing means that the effort that you put in, it is going to have a return on investment. So it is going to save you time in the long run. And if you invest wisely with time, you are going to save a lot of time, and you're going to be able to be more productive, accomplish more things, have more fun, enjoy life the way that you want to enjoy it. Now, if you spend time, spending time means it's something that you're not going to get back. Remember when I talked about dwelling? That's spending, unless you're dwelling on productivity. So spending is creating something that you don't want to remember, or that isn't going to save you time in the long run. And you can spend time however you want. We all need to spend something. I mean, we need to spend money to live. We need to spend time with ourselves. But you invest in self-care. You invest in relationships. You invest time into learning, developing, growing, building. But spending time doing things that create anxiety, worry, depression, any negative emotion, is wasting your time. Now, investing money is the same thing. So if you don't do anything with your money, it's going to dwindle away. It's going to be spent because it's going to go to cost of living, or something's going to happen that you need to spend it. It's just the way it is. Money likes to flow. So if you invest it, it means it multiplies, and you get a return on that investment. Warren Buffett, he says the best investment that you can make is in yourself, and I agree. If you have a tool that you have learned to develop, and I mean, you are your best investment. What better investment than can you make? Eventually, you'll be able to use the skills that you need to do whatever you want. And the mission in life is to be able to love the life you live. Well, you're not going to go wrong investing in you. The next problem that is a problem is clutter. And clutter can happen physically, emotionally, or mentally. So physical clutter, if you look around, it is all of the things that you're responsible for that you don't really want. How much of that stuff can you think of? How many retail therapy trips have you made and have stuff stored somewhere, or tags stuffed in your, or clothes stuffed in your closet with the tag still on, a bunch of stuff in boxes that you don't even know what it is or you long forgot, or something that you haven't used in the past year other than maybe a few memory things that you've kept from childhood. How much of that stuff do you got going on? And how does it serve to make your life better? Does it rock your socks? Because if it's not rocking your socks, why are you keeping it? Guilt? Shame? Because you bought it and it was expensive and now you don't like it anymore? It's the same thing with mental thoughts. So what are you thinking about every single day? What are you dwelling on? And emotionally, what is it that's sucking your happy? What is it that is like a drain on your happy? It's the leak, sucking the fun and the life out of your life. What is it? And then you have to get to work in order to be able to start filling that back up. And it's not easy. It takes a lot of work to be able to shift from the habits that you developed into the habits that need to be strengthened. It's like going to the gym. You don't get abs on the first day at the gym. It takes work. And it's the same thing in with emotion or mindset. It takes work. It takes time to build that muscle, break down old habits, and really get the strength that you need. Anybody that tells you that this is a quick fix, it's a lifelong journey. It's like brushing your teeth. But there's a way to do it more efficiently and faster. There's always the Pareto principle, and the 80-20 rule involves almost everything that I can think of. 20% get the most productivity, while 80% still scramble, right? So think about it. 20% of what you think about in a day might be effective. 80% you're flushing down the toilet. 20% of the time that you invest is going to get a return unless you learn how to master the 80%. You've got access to about 10% of your conscious mind. 90% of it is run on emotion and automatic in the subconscious. That's how life works. And unless you are able to master the 90% or the 80%, everything remains the same. So it's always a focus to figure out how you can utilize the 80% or 90% to make life better than what you could ever imagine.